sees another attack yet again on INEC facility, this time in our local government area of Imo State. This is a third of a similar attack that's happened on INEC facilities and infrastructure in the last 4 weeks. It happened in Ogun State and in Osun State. This time around, INEC is saying that not much of some of his assets were destroyed, but at the boardroom in that office, in that INEC office in the local government area. But how do we deal with these challenge? Let's speak with a security consultant, Dr. Udenu. He joins us virtually. Doc, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is worrying, considering the fact that on a particular day, there were two of these kind of incidents that happened. This is the thought is happening in just less than 4 weeks. How do we stop these from going on? Because before we know it, another one might happen. Could you unmute, Dr. Udenu?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sheung. Certainly, this is an issue that should concern everyone who wants to see a free, fair, and credible elections in 2023. And I think there are a significant number of us, Nigerians, and then, of course, members of the international community that are interested in seeing a credible elections in 2023. So we're very worried about this development. Now, I'll quickly mention what we know, and then I'll talk about what we need to do. What do we know? What we know is that assessments have been conducted, both by INEC, by the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, as chaired by the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Inspector General of Police. And in all of these assessments, there is one thing that is common, that is the existence of non-state armed groups in virtually all parts of the country. Now, with the case of the Southeast, these non-state armed groups are many. The most common one is the indigenous people of Biafra and its armed network, the Eastern Security Network. Certain quarters believe that they are behind that attack. Now, as a risk manager, if I know what I am facing in terms of what is likely to target a location, then I put in place control measures, mitigation measures, enough to prevent, enough to deter that likelihood of being targeted. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that. So in summary, what I'm saying is that we know the enemy, we know who is carrying out attack, but we haven't seen commensurate control measures in place to prevent that kind of attack. Now, there are 4 layers, a layered approach to preventing this type of attack. That approach should include 4 basic elements. 1, to detect the likely enemy that is going to attack, and that is, we can discuss it, for a very long period, but at the center of that is intelligence. How do we obtain the right intelligence to tell us at what time, where, when, who, and then the capacity of that group or individual, as it were, to carry out that attack. The second part is to delay that attack if it's about to happen. The third part is to deny it. In other words, what do we put in place in those INEC facilities to deny that adversary from having access to it? And then, of course, the last component is the response component. Even where, for certain reasons, if the enemy come with a lot of firepower, how do we ensure that there is enough reinforcement from surrounding areas to ensure that that facility is protected? So in summary, since this phenomenon started in 2021, I haven't seen these 4 layers in INEC facilities, unfortunately, Sheung.
Fantastic. The way and manner in which you are being able to summarize this issue and proffering the solutions. Now, so some people will wonder that Abeokuta and, in Ogun State and Osun State, these are relatively quiet areas in terms of insecurity that we've seen, and the activities, for example, that you have mentioned. Something must be wrong, because it's the same trend. Arson is the manner in which they've gone about these attacks on the INEC facilities.
Yes, for the average person on the street, he may think that Abeokuta, Ekiti State, Osun State, relatively, free from the activities of these non-state armed groups. Unfortunately, no. I wish we had the time. I would have showed you a map that was developed by my consultancy that would show you the number of non-state armed groups that have indicated their capacity to attack during the elections. And unfortunately, they are spread across the 36 states of the Federation. And I wouldn't want to say this is something that is known only to my consultancy. Recently, the Tony Blair Institute released a report, and they also documented that. I'm also aware that INEC Enterprise Risk Management Department is aware of the activities of this. Like I said, also the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police are also aware of the existence of these non-state armed groups across the entire 36 states of the Federation and Abuja. So again, if we're going to take action, we must look at a holistic approach to identify the risk, evaluate those risks, and then put in place control measures. We have enough time between now and February to do that.
I hope that we'll be able to use some of the wisdom that you have shared tonight, Dr. Adamu, for the authorities to be able to take action in some of what has become a worrisome trend in security of facilities of electoral process in this country. Thank you so much, Dr. Kabiru Adamu, the Executive Director of Beacon Security, a security consultant. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, sir. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sean Akimbale. God bless Nigeria.